Okay, we're going to calculate we're going to do some samples of calculating the LSA. Now what's LSA? LSA is a lateral surface area that equals pH, capital PH. What is capital P? The perimeter of one base. H is the perpendicular distance between the bases. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on. If you're asked to find the surface area, then find TSA, the total surface area. We're asked here to find the lateral area or the lateral surface area. LSA equals capital P times H. Now, what is the base here? We got to determine what the base is. What's the base going to be on this thing? I can come over here and we can do this right here. And it looks like that. So what am I going to have? I want to have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles, right? The base of a prism is the surfaces in which I have 2 congruent ones. I'm going to have 2 congruent triangles. Now I need to find out what the perimeter of this triangle is. I've got a 4 meter side and I've got a 3 meter side. What's the hypotenuse? You ought at this point in time to be able to recognize that that's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So this right here is 5 meters. Okay? So that triangle, one side is 4, one leg is 4, one leg is 3, and the hypotenuse is 5. So what is our P? 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12 meters. Now, what is our height? The height is the distance between the 2 bases, or in this case, between this right triangle prism, or the right triangle bases. What is the distance between these 2 triangles? Well, it's 10 meters. So this equals 12 meters times 10 meters. That equals 120 meters squared. Okay? Here's our first one. Notice here we had to do some calculations. Oh wow, guess what? These are famous for having to do some calculations. We had to take this triangle, use it to calculate the hypotenuse. Could we do it another way if we didn't recognize that was a 3, 4, 5? Yeah, 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared is 16. 9 and 16 is 25. What's the square root of 25? It's 5. Okay? So that's our other. We add up all the sides of the triangle, which is the perimeter of the base. That comes to 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12. What's the height? It's the distance between the 2 bases. Well, that's not the height, Coach. It's not up and down. No, it's not. Don't be like me. I kept saying, well, these bases, that's not, but yeah. Finally, one of my friends said, Smith, you're dumb. Why? Because the height is the distance between the bases. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's the length between the bases. Okay? That's our H. It's not necessarily how tall it is. It's just the difference. It's the length between those bases. Set it up like this, it would be how tall it is. Set it up like this, it's how wide it is. Set it up like this, it's how tall it is. Set it up like that, it's how wide it is. All right? Let's look at the next one. We've got a little rectangle here. It's like a rectangular prism. Okay? We showed the front side of it in some figures. We drew in the hidden corners. We've got 4 sides around. I need to find 2 sides that are the same. I think I'm going to take the 2 ends on this one. I've got a 15 by 8. I've got a 15 by 8 here, so that's a rectangle. I could use those 2. I've got a 10 by 8 here and here. Could use those 2. Or I've got a 15 by 10 front and back. Pick any 2 sides are the same. I'm going to pick the 2 ends, this end and this end, okay, as my bases. I'm going to take this as my base and this as my base. Well, what's the lateral surface area? Capital P times H. What's capital P? Well, this is 8, this is 10, this is 8, and this is 10. So I've got 8 plus 10 plus 8 plus 10 equals, oh, da, but. 20 plus 16 is 36. So this is 36. Now, since I chose those two as my bases, what's the distance between them? That's my height. Again, it's not necessarily the height, it's the distance between them. That's 15. So what's this equal? 36 times, oh, we're going to use inches on this. Inches, inches, inches times 15 inches. Got to get out my calculator. Some of y'all may be able to do this in your head. I hope so. 15 times 36 equals 540 square inches. So that's our lateral surface area of that particular figure. Okay, now let's do this last one. We've got pentagons on both ends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with the markings, not the way it's drawn, but with the markings, it's telling us that that's a regular pentagon with each side equaling 6 inches. Okay, so let's look at this. Each side equals 6 inches. How many sides do we have? We have 5. So what's the total perimeter of that pentagon? That's 5 times 6 equals 30 inches. Now, the height, again, I'm going to tell you, it's the distance between these two pentagons. This, by the way, is a pentagonal prism. This one is a rectangular prism. SM, Ms. Smith. This one is a right triangle prism. Okay? What's our height? The distance between our name of our prism, the pentagons, is 18 inches. Therefore, this is 30 inches times 18 inches. Well, I think that ought to be 300 plus 240. Ought to be about 540 again. 30 times 18. What do you know? Equals 540 inches squared. Okay? 540 inches squared. Not too bad. All right? Samples of how to find the lateral surface area of a prism.